Mrs. Lucy was an old woman living alone. She had no husband, no children, and no close relatives left. For many years, she had stayed in the city, a place full of crowds and noise, where people hurried every day among endless lines of traffic. But the longer she lived there, the more tired her soul became. When she finally retired, she decided to leave the city behind, to leave the chaos of sounds, and to look for a new land, a place where she hoped to spend her last days in peace. She chose a poor little village in the middle of a wide plain. There, golden rice fields stretched endlessly, and every time the wind blew, they became golden waves that danced to the horizon. The sound of the rice leaves, the lonely calls of birds in the blue sky, all of it gave her a light feeling that the city could never give. The house she bought was small and old, but warm and cozy. The walls were faded, the roof covered with moss, but to her, it was a new beginning. In front of the house was a wide yard, enough for a wooden table set and for a small garden. Lucy loved flowers. She planted soft pink peach blossoms, pure white daisies, and even elegant French roses that she had once seen only in books. Every morning, when the sun rose, she sat on her porch with a cup of hot tea, watching the flowers sway gently in the wind, breathing in their sweet fragrance. Yet, the peace around her could not erase the emptiness inside. In this village, she knew no one. During the day, apart from the crowing of roosters or the clattering of ox carts, her house was silent. At night, only the sound of crickets and frogs came from the village pond. When lying in bed, Lucy often turned restlessly, unable to sleep. Her mind wandered. Why did I come here? Can I really find joy? Or will the rest of my days be spent in loneliness? One morning, gentle sunlight came through her window, and Lucy woke up earlier than usual. Looking out at her garden, she suddenly thought, why don't I try to do something meaningful for this place? Maybe if I start first, joy will come. That thought moved her heart. She went into the kitchen and prepared flour, sugar, and fresh red strawberries. Carefully, she mixed the dough, shaped the cookies, and put them into the oven. A sweet smell filled the little kitchen. More than 100 strawberry cookies came out, golden, crispy, and fragrant. Lucy placed them carefully into clear bags, tying each with a small ribbon. Looking at them, she smiled warmly. They looked like tiny gifts waiting to be given. Carrying the basket of cookies, Lucy stepped shyly onto the village road. She knocked on doors, smiled, and handed the bags to the villagers. The children accepted them with bright eyes, as if they had found treasure. One child bit into a cookie right away and shouted, "It's so delicious, Grandma." The adults were touched by her kindness. They spoke with her, asked about her health and where she came from, and welcomed her with warm smiles. For the first time since she had arrived, Lucy felt her heart warm again, as if life had found a new rhythm. The next day, her garden bloomed brightly. She cut a fresh bouquet, wrapped it carefully, and brought it to the fields. Under the hot sun, farmers bent over their rice plants. Lucy handed them the flowers as a small encouragement. Their eyes lit up, smiles appearing on their sunburnt faces. On her way home, she stopped at the market and gave a flower to a young woman selling vegetables. The girl was surprised, then smiled brightly. "Thank you, Grandma. Nobody gives me flowers." As a return, she placed a fresh green cabbage in Lucy's hands. "This is my gift for you." Lucy was touched. Just one small action had brought her connection and simple happiness. That night, for the first time in many days, she slept peacefully without tossing and turning. News about Mrs. Lucy spread quickly through the village. People began to visit her, not for cookies or flowers, but because they felt the warmth in her heart. Some farmers brought her a small bag of rice, some women gave her sweet oranges, and some old people just stopped by to chat. Every afternoon, her yard turned into a playground for children. They came running, laughing, jumping rope, hugging dolls, or making flower crowns from the blossoms in her garden. After playing, they sat together to eat cookies and listen to Lucy's stories. She told them about the city, about trains, about night markets full of lights. The children listened with wide eyes, laughing loudly whenever Lucy added something funny. The once quiet house was now full of life. The sound of children's laughter mixed with the smell of flowers and cookies, creating a sweet music of its own. Lucy felt she was truly living, just existing. One late afternoon, Lucy sat watching the children play in her yard, and she realized, happiness is not something we search for, it is something we create by giving. Every cookie, every flower she gave was a bridge that connected hearts, and also filled her own soul. Now, she was no longer lonely. She had become a true member of the village, a place not only of golden rice fields, but of warm human love. Lucy smiled. She understood that happiness was not in wealth, not in big things. It was in the simple acts, a bag of cookies, a bouquet of flowers, a smile, or just a kind greeting. Happiness is not something to keep only for ourselves, but a light that shines only when it is shared. And because she had learned to give, she received back much more trust, affection, and peace in her heart.